number of meetings is this, but it is now 3:30. And we'll mute. On the list is Peggy Wolf. Peggy?
Thank you, David. Hello, everybody. I have the pleasure of being able to make an announcement for the Newbridge on the Charles Scholarship Fund Committee with a particular nod to the awards subcommittee and all of their hard work. I want you to know that because of our, as the residents' support, we will this year be recognizing and honoring and awarding 23 hourly employees who will receive scholarships. Please mark your calendars for Tuesday evening, July the 23rd, for the not-to-be-missed awards ceremony. It's an opportunity for all of us to come together to recognize and honor our scholars, and also to recognize that it is because of our generosity that we're able to continue and help others honor their wish to continue their education. So I look forward to seeing you all on the 23rd. The list of recipients is out there, and this is a very exciting time for the scholarship committee. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peggy. Next is Sharon Gavea. Sharon?
Thank you, David, and hello, everybody. Just to let you know that the Wind Down Travel Agency is on the move again, and we decided that would be nice to go to Asia because we haven't been there yet. So on July 15th in Great Meadow Hall, wear your brightly colored clothes because we're going to India. So it'll be a fun time. Yes, we're going to India. And don't forget to bring your passport, and we'll see you there at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Very good, Sharon. And now Judith Bazelay.
So, hello, everyone. I just want to remind everyone that there are still a few places. I hope you can see the book better than you can see me. I'm going to be reviewing this book at the library's nonfiction reading circle tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the library meeting room. This is a wonderful book about Captain Cook's third and final voyage. It's a tale of adventure, cannibalism, exploration, map making, and the clash of cultures. So if you can, please come. I think there are only 4 seats left. Thank you.
Very good. Before we go to staff, is there anybody from Independent Living who'd like to make an announcement? Let me just say that it's been deemed because of July 4th, there will be no Zoom next Thursday. No Zoom next Thursday. Okay, Larissa, you're up.
Thank you so much. So I know that a lot of you will have a dilemma tonight. We have a wonderful concert at 7:30, and I know that many of you are anxious to see the debate, which is a very important event for our country. So one thing that I'd like you to consider, that the concert starts at 7:30 and ends at 8:30, and I hope that half an hour is enough to get to your apartment, get comfortable, and get ready. When I planned this concert 6 months ago, I did not know that debate would fall on this night, and I hope that many of you would feel comfortable to do both. It's a wonderful classical trio performing light pieces by Mozart and Schumann, and maybe it is an opportunity to calm before you start listening to debate. So I hope that you choose to come. I hate to see musicians feeling that they're not welcomed. It's not a pleasant moment. So this is number one. And number two, I'd like to remind you again that next Tuesday we will have a very unique concert. This is the first time in 15 years that the singers from all Newbridge communities, long-term community, memory support community, independent living community, and assisted living community join together to perform a festive July 4th program. I have to tell you, they've been rehearsing for at least a month. They are very excited. We're going to have around 60 singers on stage and off stage. And I hope to see many of you supporting this wonderful effort. Right, Barbara?
Yep. And David, you're not gonna be there.
Thanks, Larissa.
Thank you.
Peter Halfon, before we go to staff, Peter, you have a comment? I unmuted you.
Sorry, David, I thought I was on the list because I do want to talk about the NOSH relaunching, or as we like to call it, NOSH Reimagined. Now, when we talk about NOSH Reimagined, we're not referring to the NOSH that's being planned for the future with a new kitchen and so on. The architect for that has been selected. The contract is under review, and the programming and schematic phase for that should start fairly soon. However, we are talking about NOSH Reimagined. The word NOSH implies small bites or light affair, as does the word bistro, which is the way this venue was described in early NBOC marketing material. Certainly, as the only kosher venue.
It's a fucking joke.
Certainly, as the only kosher venue, it did not satisfy the needs of those observing kashrut who deserved a full meal. The Nosh Kitchen was not designed for this, as those who have taken Eileen's kitchen tour surely have learned. So the new changes include a new 3-month menu to include daily specials, entrees, starters, sandwiches, and other light affair. A new lunch menu, which is still being finalized. New sit-down service as opposed to a buffet. Early focus groups with free plus, and the reality that a large percentage of residents now rely on wheelchairs, walkers, canes, or simply don't feel comfortable to walk with a plate of food has mandated this. A new seating layout. The original Nosh was designed to be contained between the 4 large columns that you see down there. The remainder of the space was primarily a slate floor, now carpeted, which served as a thoroughfare, or continues to serve as a thoroughfare, for residents and food carts. The demand for more seating capacity, mainly to reduce the crunch on Centro, resulted in the purchase of more tables placed along the window. Planters were added within the last year. The new modified arrangement, without the purchase of any new furniture, should improve the ambience of the space. A new reservation system. Reservations will be encouraged and will get priority seating, but walk-ins can wait in a designated area and be seated as soon as possible. Josh, Eileen, and Patrick, and all the dining team, with the support and assistance of the dining committee, had to manage several significant hurdles to get us to this point. Please join us on Monday, July 1st, between 3:30 and 4:30 for a tasting preview or a review, or as Eileen likes to call it, a soiree for a tasting. The official launch date is Tuesday, July 2nd. Give it a try. Please be patient and please be respectful. Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And now we'll go to the boardroom and Josh and the dining team.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see all of us, and I am going to ask, as some of you were on last week, the advanced slide feature on my computer was not working. So if that happens again, please just speak up. I'll try to test it prior to us getting into the slides. And today in the boardroom, we've got Eileen O'Donoghue and Chef Patrick Goyal here to present and talk about some of the things that Peter just mentioned, specifically, though, in detail, what the menu will entail, the new menu. For those of you that were on the Zoom chat last week, we spoke mostly about the dining operational changes. And so today we'll be focused more on the menu dynamic itself. We'll do a little recap for either those of you who weren't on last week or just as a recap, but today's PowerPoint presentation will focus primarily on the menu. So I'm just going to take a moment to share my screen. Okay. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Perfect.
All right, and I'm going to do one advance just to test. Did that advance?
That worked.
Thank you. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn it over first to Eileen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us today. So this is just a quick slide just to kind of show us a quick timeline of where we're at. Last Thursday, we had a NOSH training for the execution and the service of this new model. And today, obviously, we're presenting the menu. Tomorrow you will see the menu on the dining website and in all the dining weekly communications. This Monday coming up, we do invite you to a NOSH soiree. NOSH is closed for dinner because it's the first day of the month and we normally have the birthday night on that night as well. So that's why we picked that night. And also then Tuesday, July 2nd, we're going to launch our NOSH Reimagined.
Hello, everyone. Like mentioned, we have some new menus that are going to be rolled out on Tuesday, the 2nd. We have a new menu for lunch and a new menu for dinner, which we are excited about. The goal here with these menus is just to go a little healthier and to go a little lighter with our options while keeping it kosher. We have some fresh new sandwiches and some other favorites that we currently do that's on the menu. For lunch and for dinner, we have different starters, Sammy's, which is a fun word for sandwiches, entrees, sides, specials, and desserts all in one menu. Just to mention a few new items, we have some Asian zing wings, we have baked cod, knockwurst, egg rolls, just to name a few.
All right, what is changing? So again, we're having our soiree on July 1st. NOSH is opened for lunch and dinner on July 2nd. Reservations. So all the way along right now, if you wanted to book NOSH, you would either go on the website or call Girls Upstairs in Centro. So what we're trying to do now is have NOSH have its own reservations. So starting on Tuesday, we will have a NOSH host stand and it'll be open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can call 49101, and that's also for takeout orders. And then specials will be sent out through Constant Contact on Friday for the following week. They'll be also available on the dining website. And similar to Centro, we'll have a QR code printed on the NOSH menus.
Thank you. And briefly, for those of you that have used the QR code in Centro, or maybe you're unfamiliar with a QR code, it's that black and white squares containing data. That picture will be printed on the NOSH lunch menu and on the NOSH dinner menu, and it will show the current weekly specials for soups, lunch specials, and dinner specials for the entire week. To scan a QR code with a smartphone, you open your camera app. You line up the camera so that all four corners of the square are in view. When you've done it correctly, you will see the URL or website link appear. Once you click the link, it will take you directly to that page.
All right, so this is the NOSH Bistro and this is the lunch menu. Like we mentioned, we have a couple of new items on here. Just to point out a few, we have a grilled vegetable quesadilla at lunchtime. We have a NOSH Italian grinder, spring onion and lemon chicken salad, which is a little bit on the lighter side. We are trying to stay away from the heavy things like mayonnaise. So we are switching over to a vinaigrette for the chicken salad. We have sliders also available at lunchtime.
All right, so here is the Nosh weekly specials. So what we did was to try and combine it all in one page. So when you look up that QR code that Josh just explained to you, either on your phone or on your computer, you can look at your soups of the week, you can look at your lunch specials for the week, and also you can look at your dinner specials for the week.
And just to add, these will be posted in the dining website, and these are actually the current specials for next week. So this is a live weekly specials menu. Thank you.
All right, so now you're looking at the dinner menu. I'd like to highlight that it is a la carte menu, just like Centro. So all items are individually priced. A couple new things on this dinner menu that stand out are the onion and fig tart, which is an appetizer. We have corned beef egg rolls as an appetizer. We also have a new Mediterranean bowl, which we tried out at the mock service. We kind of enhanced it a little bit more. We also have, like I said, we have beef and impossible sliders. And for desserts, we have cookies, we have brownies that'll be available for both lunch and dinner. And at dinner time, we'll also have a dessert of the day.
Thank you.
And again, just a final recap, this menu will be Monday through Thursdays, 5:30 to 7 p.m. This model will change from a buffet model to a sit-down service model. The buffet bar, or what we used to call it, the soup and salad bar, still remains self-service. There is no service model. There is on Friday Shabbat dinners or the Sunday buffet, they will still remain the same. Reservations are strongly recommended for priority seating. This is important because the same as Centro, we need to help with the flow in order to help with the kitchen. And if you are looking for this slideshow or last week's slideshow, they will be on the website, and there is a bunch of frequently asked questions also on the website. And one more quick thing, because I know it's very important, if somebody's asking what's happening to Turkey Tuesdays, we will still have turkey as a special on Tuesdays.
Glad you mentioned that.
And then finally, thank you for everybody, all the dining committee, the focus group, some of the staff here at Newbridge for helping us out, just to help us to relaunch this. Very, very appreciative of everybody. And we are looking forward to seeing you all down in Nosh next Monday from 3:30 to 4:30. We are calling it a soiree. Really, it's just to get together and try out some of these new menu items that Chef Patrick and his team have organized.
With that, I'm about to stop sharing and can open it up to any questions.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, Charlie Small, you have a question?
Yes. Regarding lunch at Nosh, I know you're encouraging reservations. Sometimes I used to come down, pick up lunch to just bring it upstairs and not sit in Nosh. Will I still be able to do that, or how will that change, if at all?
No, Charlie, I think what the reservations we're more concerned about is at dinner time, not during the day. So you can still go up to Nosh, and one of the questions the servers will ask you again, if you wanted here to go, and you can still work away for Nosh during the day. Thank you. That was a good question. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Fine?
Yeah, the buffet, the barbecues that we're gonna have during the summer, I assume that's the special for those days? And outdoor seating will be available?
Yes, outdoor seating will be available, yes, for the summer. Yeah, and it's going to be a buffets on Sunday. Right now we have the barbecue during the summertime, but then once the winter rolls in, it'll be just a regular buffet. But seating is always available down in Nosh, on the outside if you like, yes.
Frank Bachner?
Will you still have the salad bar at lunch?
Yes, we will still have the salad bar at lunch, and we'll have the salad bar at nighttime. The thing about the salad bar at nighttime is, it's kind of like, I don't know if anyone ever been to Ruby Tuesdays. If you wanted to go up and just have the salad bar, you're welcome to go up and use the salad bar. But if you just want to sit down and just have your entree and have your meal, you are welcome to do that in Nosh also. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions?
If not, David, I just wanted to pass along, again, reiterate Eileen and Pat's thanks to everybody, including residents who have been involved through this process. And I just want to make one final memo. In addition to this information being on the dining website beginning tomorrow, also in the culinary corner will be the reminder of the operational changes next Thursday for 4th of July. So if you have any questions, just please reach out. And again, thank you everyone for your time and contributions to this process.
Sounds exciting, Josh.
Thank you, David.
Eileen.
We're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on then, we'll go to Jessica.
Thank you, David. I just have a few announcements before we have Matt on to go over the resident survey results. First, I really have to give a kudos to the dining team and the dining committee. As everyone has kind of mentioned, we will be doing the new rollout on July 2nd. And really the dining team and committee has made so many changes over the past year, working with Third Plus, listening to resident feedback, and just with any type of change, any new rollout, we do expect that there might be some growing pains. So I really just ask the community to have some grace, to know that the first few weeks there might be some bumps. But I know that the team is always working and wanting to listen and wanting to do better. So please bear with us, and thank you so much to Josh and his whole team. I want to just let people know that just like last summer, we are seeing another increase in COVID-19 cases in the community. Luckily, we have not been seeing them really in our independent living community, but on the outskirts, I've been hearing from a lot of nurse friends that their facilities are starting to have a lot more positive cases. Please, if you're not feeling well, please stay home. If you need any help with getting a test, please call our security department. More than happy to help you test. This time of year is always tricky because we're also against allergies. So a lot of people think, oh, maybe it's just allergies. If you're having symptoms, just be extra cautious and test. If you need any assistance, call security. I also hope some of you have noticed that the garden patio now has its furniture up and arranged. I hope you're taking advantage of our beautiful campus and can be outside for a little bit and check it out. It really looks great out there. I've seen a lot of residents already utilizing it. And I really just hope that with these coming days of sunshine, now that we're past the rain from yesterday, that people will take advantage. Also, our employee week continues today. Some of you may notice we had an ice cream truck outside. So today was ice cream truck day. We had all the staff from independent living, assisted living, as well as the healthcare center come on out, have an ice cream, socialize for a little bit. And it's really just always a fun week that we really can show our teams how much we appreciate them. So hopefully you've noticed some fun things going around on campus, and they will continue on tomorrow as well. Matt is on a very well-deserved vacation beginning on Sunday, and he'll be back on July 15th. So I am pushing him, and he knows he's not going to be checking emails or phones. So please, if anyone needs anything, has any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I will be available, phone, email, whatever you need, but I'll always get right back to you. So again, he'll be out until the 15th, and I am here if you need anything. And lastly, in case I don't see a lot of you around town next week, I just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. I hope that everyone's able to have a relaxing day. And that is all I have, David.
Very good, Jessica. And now we'll go to Matt and the presentation of the survey.
All right, terrific. Hello, everyone. So I don't have anything to share today, but it's nice to see you all. Just kidding. Obviously, I was hoping we would have drawn more than 94 people today to share the survey results. But before we get there, I just want to say I've been reading resident satisfaction surveys now for 20+ years, and there's a little bit of an art to them. Some of them have information hidden in them, and you have to look a little bit deeper, read between the lines. And some areas don't do well where others do well consistently. And there's nothing different about this case, except for the fact that overall, I felt pretty good about this survey. You're going to see a couple areas that we're going to need to focus on over the course of the next year. No surprise, we've talked about it in the past: culinary, the salon, and I believe the last one was the store. So as we get into this a little bit, we can have some discussion around that. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to the community for giving us the feedback. First and foremost, we survey a lot, and you all get surveyed from everybody everywhere. So for taking the time to fill out our survey specific to us here at Newbridge means a lot, and the information is incredibly helpful. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get right into it. Let's see. Okay. Just go hitting. Okay. Can everybody see the opening slide? I see some thumbs up. Okay, good. I want to make sure that that is the case. All right, so I'm going to run through in terms of the agenda. We'll talk about, we broke it up into the overall satisfaction scores, talks a little bit about management. There's a whole section in there on dining, which I think you'll all find very interesting. Then it goes into other services. Other services is every other department here at Newbridge. And then we can talk about some of the comments that were, coming up and things like that. So let's see. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is this organization, meaning Active Insights, does this thing called an engagement score. And they look to see how many residents they consider engaged, which means how many residents feel really positive about the community operations overall. And you can see our score was a 70 in independent living here at Newbridge on the Charles. And then if you take the neutral score, which is the 20, obviously it brings you up to the 90. But in this case, it's considered 70, which is good. Now, here's the reason why we chose to work with Activated Insights. They're an organization that can benchmark against all the other CCRCs across the United States. That's really helpful for us to see how we compare to other continuing care retirement communities. So when they say an engagement score of our residents, a 70% in their mind is good. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but down here, you can see, oh, I went backwards. Let's try to go back again. Down here, you can see other CCRCs are at a 68%. So we performed 2 percentage points better than other continuing care retirement communities across the nation when looking at Active Insights engagement score module. In terms of our response was amazing. We had an 80% participation rate, or 256 residents responded out of 322. Again, thank you to Christina and her team. Worked really hard on making sure we got a lot of responses. That's great news. That means the data and the information that we have here is pretty accurate data and information. Okay, so overall satisfaction. These are some of the key areas we look at to see how we're performing. The first one, in recommending this facility to your friends and family, how would you rate it overall? The blue that you see at the top, and I'm just talking about this first bar here, okay, at 91%, that means 91% of the residents strongly agreed with this, okay? The 7% here is neutral, all right? And then the difference, which is almost like this opaque looking blue, this very dull blue, that basically disagrees, okay? So the darker blue, agree, lighter blue, neutral, the opaque lighter blue, that's the disagree. And then if you look at the bottom here on the right, and this is going to be important as we go through this, there's a legend. And the legend shows you, again, the Newbridge color. And then it says CCRC's 2023. That's the comparison to other continuing care retirement communities. And then lastly is the purple, which is HSL overall. They call it company overall, but it's the aggregate roll-up of all of Hebrew Senior Life Housing. Now, remember, in Hebrew Senior Life Housing, this also includes HUD affordable housing. All right, so you're going to see things in there where people are going to feel like they get a good value for the money they pay. And I would suspect that would be the case if you were in a subsidized housing situation, or if you felt like the meal quality was good. If you were having a meal program put in place in a subsidized housing situation, you would likely feel different about it than paying market rate like happens here within our organization, our community. So you can see, again, back to the top one, and recommending this facility to friends and family, we got a 91% in terms of agree, compared to CCRCs across the US was 77%, and then HSL as a whole was 87%. So we did very well. Overall, how would you rate the staff? This one makes me incredibly proud. We got a 91%, and then an 8% was neutral on it. So you can do the math. I mean, that's a phenomenal score, particularly compared to CCRCs, 72%, and then HSL overall is 81. As an executive director, that's really what you want to see. There's one of me, there's many staff members, and it's wonderful to know that they're performing incredibly well and that the organization, the community feels close to them. The community strives to understand what matters to me. This is a very specific HSL initiative. The concept behind this one is that if the organization is paying attention to what matters to people individually, they'll have a quality experience living here at Newbridge on the Charles. It's a very challenging one to attain. But of course, it's something that we really stay focused on because we feel like it's important. So you can see 67% agreed with that statement, 29% were neutral towards it, and there is no CCRC benchmark for this because this is specifically a Newbridge HSL question. But you can see at 67%, that sentiment was shared across housing at HSL. So we matched that completely. So these are the dining results. And I'm going to preface this by saying dining is one of the most challenging things you will ever see on a resident satisfaction survey. End of story. If you're going to look at any resident satisfaction survey from any CCRC, what you're going to identify is that your lowest performer is generally dining and the value received for the money paid. Those are always the two things, okay? And I just want everybody to understand that. In fact, I was reading earlier the Patriot, which is this document here that the Massachusetts Life Care Association puts out. And in there, there's even a blurb called Community Conversations. And right there it says, the most recent topic was probably the most talked about topic in CCRCs, dining services. These conversations have allowed us to connect with other communities who have similar issues, concerns, and solutions. Now, the one thing to remember here, and I think it's easy to lose perspective on this, and I do quite a bit, we get compared to restaurants that people go and dine at, 10, 20 times a year maybe. And this is an environment that you're dining at each and every single night. You're being served by the same people that are trying to be as creative as possible. And the food is being purveyed by generally the same purveyors, unless we change vendors at any given time. And it's a pretty static dining experience overall in CCRCs. So you can't compare them to what you would see in a restaurant space that you're only dining at 10 times a year, and the repetitiveness doesn't happen because you have your favorite dishes and so on and so forth. So it's a unique challenge in CCRCs, particularly culinary. That's my really long-winded way of saying that I pretty much expected something like this because this is on par with what I've seen throughout my entire career. So here we go. Overall, how would you rate the food? All right, 38% strongly agreed that the food was good. 30% were neutral. 31% here at Newbridge don't care for the food. If you look at CCRC overall, we're 1% higher. If you look at HSL overall, we're 2 points lower. I'm satisfied with the variety of food offered. This one actually surprised me quite a bit. Most CCRCs do a couple entree offerings in the evenings, and then they have a cafe, and that's usually the scope of it. In fact, I've had some company here from North Hill lately that has been trying to learn from us because they're hitting their bumps in a big way. So 49% were satisfied with the variety of food offered, 32% were neutral, 19% disagreed. The surprising thing to me was compared against the CCRCs, that 54% strongly agreed about the variety of food when we were at 49. But as you can see, Chef Patrick, Eileen, and Josh, so much credit to them. They have so much grit. They never stop trying, which is just unbelievable. And I appreciate it very much. I'm satisfied with the quality and consistency of food. I got some great feedback that'd be great if this question were broken up into two, specifically to test on quality and test on consistency instead of having it as one. However, this is a standard question that allows benchmarking against other CCRCs. So you can see overall, we came in at a 42 totally agree, 36 neutral, and 22% disagree against a benchmark of 53% and a company overall 50%. So culinary continues to be the place where the organization and HSL specifically puts a lot of work. And then, you know, obviously here at Newbridge, we are not giving up by any means. Moving on to other services, I'm satisfied with the front desk, 90% agree, 7% are neutral. You can see 92% rating for other CCRCs. So we're right there where we should be, 84% when looking at HSL. The one thing I will say is most communities do not have concierge service. So the expectation of our front desks are a little bit different than what happens at other CCRCs. Other CCRCs, it's primarily answering the phone, letting people in, working with the mailman, collecting packages, those kind of things. Most other communities don't have the amazing Joe Zagalis and Mark Blazewski, so we're really lucky. I'm satisfied with fitness programs and amenities, 86%, agreed, 11% were neutral. You can see that's 3 points higher than what we're seeing at other CCRCs, and significant difference between what we're doing and what's happening at HSL. So that was nice to see. Satisfied with the response to maintenance requests, 86% positive, 11% neutral. Again, that's better than what you're seeing at CCRC overall at 78%, and slightly better than HSL overall. I'm satisfied with resident services. This was 83% positive, 15% neutral, and again, performed and outperformed the benchmarks. I'm satisfied with the cleanliness of common areas in the apartments. This one's 80% and then 15% neutral. And you can see CCRC benchmarks at 76 and HSL overall is at 85. Just gonna give a moment before I go to the next one. I know it's a lot of information. Programs and activities of interest to me are available, or I feel empowered to create my own. 78% agreed, 18% were neutral, against a CCRC benchmark of 73 and an HSL score of 74. So I was, again, pleased with that one. I'm satisfied with the medical clinic. This is a great one. This has come a long, long way. You know, Dr. Schuster, for those of you that see him, he does an incredible job, and he's done a wonderful job there in the clinic. So the score is 78% positive, 18% neutral, against a CCR baseline of 53%. So they're knocking it out of the park over there. And then HSL is 60%. So kudos to them.
That's good.
Satisfied with finance billing, 75% agree, 21% are neutral. As you know, we've talked about this on this chat. We're having some bumps there lately. We are well aware of it. Carol, Rob, and Jim Hart, our CFO, are working hard on getting that cleaned up. It's part of a centralization process that's happening, looking for efficiencies. But even so, I was really happy to see this score, and I anticipate this score being even higher. It outperformed the CCRC benchmark by 4 points and the company overall by 5 points. I'm satisfied with outdoor amenities. This one was a little confusing to me, only because I'm not sure what they're considering outdoor amenities. If you take into the fact that we pretty much live in a state park, that could be considered one giant amenity, but maybe they're talking about pickleball courts and dog parks and things like that. I'm not quite sure. I think this one has a little bit of variability when you think about it, respond to it, and as we talk about it. So we had a 74% positive, 20% neutral, compared to a CCR benchmark of 79 and a company overall of 72. So again, not bad. But I would love a little more clarity on that one in terms of understanding. I'm satisfied with the spiritual programs and support. This one was awesome. We got a 72. All agree. 26% neutral against a CCRC benchmark of 52. So for me, the CCRC benchmark is really an incredibly important metric because it lets us know what's happening against the industry average. Transportation options, if applicable to where I need to go, are available when I need them. 72% agree, 22% are neutral, 6% disagree, compared to 60% for a benchmark and 58% when it comes to HSL. Again, Al and company, they do a great job. Schedule of programs and activities work for me where I feel empowered to make changes. 71% agree, 21% neutral against a benchmark of 69. I'm satisfied with the salon, 49% agree, 36% are neutral against a CCRC benchmark of 62. Yikes. So there is some work to do there. And I can promise you the work has already begun. More details on that at a later date, but the salon has definitely hit its bumps. Obviously, they had some resignations. One person came back. There's some internal challenges there. There's some leadership challenges. We are well aware here in administration. The contract with them is up in August, and we are working on finding a solution to make sure the residents here have exactly what they need. I'm satisfied with the market store. This one was a little bit surprising. There's been an amazing overhaul done by Rashawn and Adriana. If you haven't been to the store recently, check it out. It's gotten a lot better. So this one's 40% agree, 43% are neutral, 16% disagree on a benchmark of 75. So it looks like there's some opportunity in that space. So priorities for the action plan. What are we going to do with this information? So I will be working with the directors to create action plans for areas that we can improve upon. Those areas specifically include overall, how would you rate the food? I'm satisfied with the quality and consistency of the food. I'm satisfied with the market store, and I'm satisfied with the salon. Once those action plans are developed, and we'll take a lot of feedback from the staff, we'll build it into the annual goals of those that are responsible for these areas. And that way, you know, the old saying, what gets measured gets done. So we will focus on getting that work done. We'll roll out the action plans, and we'll make sure that in their quarterly and annual review process, we're checking in to make sure that the progress is actually being made. So here's the good news. Salon, very attainable. Store, incredibly attainable. Culinary, they haven't taken their foot off the gas since I've been here, not even for a moment. And I know for not even a moment will they. And so I anticipate this to keep getting better and better. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I think some of you may want a copy of this. We're going to put it on Touchtown. And if you're specifically looking for a copy to be emailed to you, you can ask Lynette for one. She'll send you over the PowerPoint. Try to get it on Touchtown first, though. Let's not inundate her with emails. She's got plenty to respond to. And those are the scores. So I'm curious to know any thoughts or initial feedback.
Mayor, do you have a question?
Yeah, so the one area with quality and consistency of food, which you wished had been a separable question, and it's not, are your action plans going to address those two things separately?
It's a great question, Mayor. You know, to be quite honest with you, I haven't thought about it that much. I think we will start talking about it once we get into the action planning. So thanks for triggering the thought.
Any other questions for Matt on this survey? I'm sure there will be once you read it and
Sure.
discuss it. Phyllis Hirsch? Go ahead, Phyllis.
I got it. Okay. I just wanted to say that Matt and all of the staff should feel very good about how wonderful the responses have been. I mean, they are significantly better than even I thought it would be. Doesn't mean everything is perfect. Certainly, I don't think everything is perfect, but I think that you should feel very, very good about having received this. And, kudos to you and to the staff.
Thank you, Phyllis. Means a lot.
Agreed, Phyllis. Bob Weinstein.
Yes. Is there a category for outdoor, like the landscaping? Is there a category for the lawns up at the cottages? And what was the reaction to that?
So what you saw was everything that was part of the questionnaire, Bob. There was no category for that. And I think part of that reason is so they could benchmark against the other CCRCs. I was anticipating that would be captured in the question around outdoor amenities. That's why I started talking about the variability of that and how it was a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
That would be the closest thing to answering that question, but I don't think it does a good job in that regard.
Well, can I ask a question of whether the sprinklers were turned on anywhere, the cottages anytime so far this year?
Yep, they've been on. There was an issue with the pump yesterday and Kevin was out there fixing it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Crier? Let me unmute you, Raya. You're
Sorry.
unmuted.
I was also very pleased to see the survey, and it's wonderful that everyone has done such a good job. I have a suggestion or a request, and that is transportation is really very good. However, many doctors are difficult to get appointments with, and sometimes you have to get an appointment in the afternoon. If one has an appointment, say at 2:30, they will take us there, but they won't take us back. And I'm wondering, since they have to come back to Newbridge anyway, is there a possibility of charging us a little bit more when it's in the afternoon so that overtime can be paid to the drivers or something so that we could have later appointments?
Raya, I'm going to take that down right now. I'll have a conversation with Victor, Will, and Al. That sounds reasonable if the drivers were able and willing.
And I hope and I think they are willing. I mean, they're wonderful.
Yeah, they are. They are. Thank you for sharing that.
Charlotte Chase, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question, but I don't know how to put, the hand doesn't go up.
Well, go ahead, Rona.
Yeah. It's terrific. I love to hear the survey and how well everybody is doing, especially with the food, because I would like to make a suggestion, and I don't know if anybody could do it, but I find that most people wait to find out about the specials when we go to dinner, if we're eating in the Centro. So is it possible to make more than one special? I know we have 3, but I mean, more than one every day. I think for me, I get sick of eating the same food all the time, and I wait for the specials so I can have more of a selection. And I don't know if it's possible to do anything else.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Eileen, Josh, Patrick, one of you to respond to that. I could respond, but you may not like my response. And that's not to you, Rona. That's to Josh, Eileen, and Patrick. So.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Rona, thank you very much for speaking up. I mean, and I can certainly make
Rona.
myself, if you want to speak in more detail. Again, one of the things that we've done is with our culinary partners and with work with the dining committee is create a menu that offers variety, including specials that we are able to produce given our current footprints and our current what we have available. We are looking to change that down the road, knowing that there are certain physical obstacles that don't allow us to produce
Yeah.
in a timely manner. I definitely hear you about the features going out earlier, and as you can see with Nosh, you will be getting those a week in advance for the entire week. As far as expanding additional dinner specials now, I think for now we are kind of at the amount we can. Pat, do you want to elaborate a little bit about, how you choose the specials and what you look to do in that process real quick?
Yeah, so I mean, with the specials, for the most part, we try to, right now we're about to be on, I think, our fourth or fifth menu rotation. We just rotate in a lot of the specials from the past that people might find as favorites.
Yes.
But you'll also see that we're also trying to introduce new items, and we're also getting, the other cooks and chefs in the kitchens that are also giving new ideas just to keep it fresh, so it's not the same thing that you're seeing every day.
And I know I don't want to speak for the entire team, but we do want to offer more when we get to that point. The whole point of looking at an architect to build these plans for the future and how to expand speak to the dedication of this team and the community, Matt and everyone involved in looking at this and spending the money so that we can fix past problems, give the culinary team the equipment that they need. And our goal is to be able to offer more, Rona. That is
Yeah.
absolutely something we would love to do. I'm Italian, so I always want to cook more food.
Yeah, I understand that. Italian and Jewish people are similar in many respects. Not to leave out the Irish.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Rona.
Okay, Toby Levine.
Yeah, Josh, I want to thank you for sending out an email every morning with the specials of the day. I find it very, very helpful. I do have one problem though. When I bring it up on my phone, I find it very hard to read any text on that kind of beige paper. I wonder if there's an alternative that would make it easier to read.
That's a wonderful feedback. We don't always look at it with the same eyes as our community, so thank you. I will pass that along to see if we can change the background on that to be more easily read. Thank you.
Appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the survey? Neil.
I'm delighted to hear about the new Nosh. The old Nosh was clearly below average. May I suggest on the next survey that you break out separate categories for Centro, which I think is doing all right, and Nosh, which is not. I think you'll find what I say in the past is true, but I hope it's not going to be true in the future. But that's one way to test it, is to break it out on the survey separately.
Thank you.
Very good. Hey, do you see any other questions? Not? Don't see anybody else waving their hands. So very good, Matt. Great
Oh,
presentation.
Rona has her hand up
I
again.
just have a short comment that I noticed on the menu that there are duplicates a couple of times. The trout and the turkey burger, I mean, they're really the same, even though they're put into separate columns. Is that just to fill a space? I don't, is that necessary? Long as we're
Thank you.
talking about the menu.
No, thank you, Rona. No, that was actually by design. We had gotten feedback that some residents weren't aware that many of our composed items that the chefs put together, composed meaning multiple ingredients and sauces, could be ordered simply prepared or without all of those. So we took some of the items that we saw with a preparation, we put it in a simply prepared section as a reminder that you can still get those items in a much simpler preparation. That was the goal behind that. And overall, we've actually gotten some positive feedback that it's been helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Charlotte Chase has her hand up.
Go ahead, Charlotte.
Okay, when it comes to, you said people like Mark and Matt, and Joe and all, I also want to say how good Mary is, being in the front greeting people and doing the one-stop shop and all. I just wanted to include her with people in the front.
Very good. Thank you, Charlotte.
Very good. Okay, just a reminder, folks, no meeting, no 3:30 Zoom next Thursday. Happy July 4th. And maybe Jerry will be back the following week.
Thank you. Great job, David.
Thanks, David.
Bye,
Good
everyone.
job. Good job, David.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.